Right now, family, friends, classmates, teachers, and neighbors are paying their respects to two of the four Brunswick teenagers killed in that tragic crash. And tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from the sole survivor of the crash, 17-year-old Julia Romito. Good evening, I'm Lee Jordan.
And I'm Danita Harris. Romito suffered a concussion and minor injuries in the crash that killed her best friend and two other friends. She got out of the hospital last night. News Channel 5's Bob Jones talked with Julia and her dad today. And you know, Bob, so many people have been praying for Julia. How is she doing today?
Well, Danita, physically, she is doing remarkably well. Emotionally, we can't even begin to understand how much difficulty this poor kid is facing and is dealing with tonight. Although she did tell me that she's very grateful for all the support that she is receiving from the Brunswick community. Tonight, outside of St. Ambrose Catholic Church, the calling hours are taking place for Jeff Chea and Blake Barczyk. You can see the long lines of people dressed in blue and white waiting to pay their final respects. Many are waiting for up to 2 hours. In the midst of this tragedy, though, there is a story of hope and survival. Julia Romito told us today she considers herself a miracle.
Physically, she's a miracle. She's doing very well.
An emotional father, Dominic Romito, says he feels like he's living in a fog, dealing with powerful mixed emotions. His daughter, 17-year-old Julia Romito, is the only survivor of the crash that killed 4 other Brunswick high school students.
Somehow, Angel's Wings wrapped her up. I don't know why they picked her. I wish I would have picked them all.
Off camera today, the courageous teen showed us her injuries: a broken pinky finger, chipped teeth, bruises on her stomach, and a concussion. She told us, "I'm doing a lot better each day, but I'm just taking my struggles day by day."
We just want to make sure she can emotionally deal with what she's been through, and that's going to take a little time. You know, as a parent of the surviving child, it's strange. It's very strange. You can't be happy. You're happy you have your child, but then you have all these kids that have passed away. And
Julia says she doesn't remember the accident or the moments before the speeding Chevy Cavalier flew over railroad tracks on Boston Road and overturned in a ditch in Columbia Township. She is heartbroken over the tragic deaths of her 4 friends: Jeff Chea, Blake Barczyk, Kevin Fox, and Lexi Perner, Julia's best friend.
She just is in shock, like she doesn't believe that it's happening yet. I mean, I don't think it's hit her yet.
it's almost as if, did this really happen? You know, my daughter's talking to me. It is very strange. It's a very strange feeling. And certainly the survivor's guilt is present. You know, Julia's mentioned it.
Julia told us she's very touched by the outpouring of prayers and support throughout the Brunswick community. She said, "It's an amazing feeling just to know how many people care about me."
The love that she's feeling from the community means a lot to her. She's overwhelmed with the amount of support. She's amazed.
And back here live in Brunswick, you can see that there is a long line of people paying their final respects to 2 of the young children killed in this accident. Julia tells us she was wearing her seatbelt, and that is a fact that she believes saved her life. In fact, she says she was visited by a paramedic in the hospital who told Julia that the paramedic actually yelled out, "Does anyone need any help?" inside the car, and she pulled out her hand. She actually does not remember that, but again, she wanted to stress, very grateful to the community for all the support that she's receiving, and tonight her, along with her father, are sending out their prayers to the young victims who passed away here in Brunswick. Live in Brunswick, Bob Jones, News Channel 5.
A lot of prayers and time, Bob, for the emotional wounds to heal from that community. Thank you very much. Such a brave young lady, and definitely she's going to need a lot of our prayers.
Yeah, it's
still
difficult to fathom the shock and the grief that all of these families are dealing with, but it is encouraging to see how much support they're getting from the community.
Everyone coming together.
Well, people have been lining up at St. Ambrose Church in Brunswick, paying their respects to 2 of the 4 teens killed in the crash. Visitation for Blake Barczyk and Jeffrey Chea continues until 8 o'clock tonight. Funeral services for the 2 are set for tomorrow. And tonight there will be a candlelight vigil inside the church at 8 o'clock where the community can come to support the families of the victims and one another.
This is one of those moments that defies words. That it's every parent, every grandparent's worst nightmare to get that call in the middle of the night And just, I think what we want to really try to be able to do here today and these next days is literally blanket and surround these families with prayer and let them know that even in this darkest, most difficult moment, that the light of Christ shines bright and the love of this community and their family and their friends really stands strong.
Calling hours for Lexi Perner will be Thursday from 2 until 8 at the Jardine Funeral Home in Strongsville. Her funeral mass is Friday at 9:30 a.m. at St. Ambrose Church in Brunswick. And the wake for Kevin Fox will be held Friday from 2 until 8 at Cornerstone Church in Medina. His funeral will take place Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock at the same church.